Hi everyone, Wrath here. This is my last video about the Season 8 Uber bosses. I sort of left off with Andariel in the last video because I ran out of time. The main thing is just not going. I think most people go there at the start of Torment 1. Um, it will demoralize them and it won't be a quick kill. And you're gonna, if you haven't learned that fight, you're gonna waste a lot of time. I You can probably safely do it once you're comfortably into Torment 2, but my recommendation from a time perspective is wait till you're comfortably into Torment 3. Um, Later in the season, it shouldn't matter because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people just killing her as favors. But early on at the beginning of the season, if you insist on doing stuff alone or don't want to hunt for someone or can't find a carry, I would just wait till you're in T3. You're gonna have to do the pillars. We're used to skipping phase 1 and phase 2 pillars at the moment. The first phases don't have every single mechanic in them, so phase 1 pillars not that bad. Phase 2 something gets added, and then phase 3 you have everything: the Hadoken beam, the flaming skulls. The flaming skulls feel like an avoidable one shot on retail right now. I don't think they technically are. I think if you have a way to immune or mitigate enough damage, they won't one shot you. The Hadoken beam, I suspect, goes through blood mist and immunities. Could be wrong, but that's just my take on that ability. Either way, you don't want to get hit by it. Um, if you can do Andariel, you're ready to try and learn Lilith. You should be comfortably into Torment 3 to do Lilith, and there is a reason to mastering Lilith. Her boss power, I don't know if it got nerfed once or twice. Uh, my understanding of uh, the release on the nerfs and how they're presented to Wowhead. I don't know if there was a first wave of Lilith Wind of Hate nerfs, and then we just got a list of all the other bosses that were nerfed, or if just everything was nerfed and only a portion of that news went out. But either way, Winds of Hate, there's a possibility that if everyone's running Winds of Hate, it synergizes together and it shreds stuff. Probably not good for trash or elites, but probably amazing for things like bosses and for farming T4 bosses and for farming pits. So anything where the boss has a lot of health, there's a world in which all four people running Winds of Hate is a strong play. That said, um, whether that's the case or not, the Lilith passive is insane. Um, every time you damage an elite pack, you are going to spawn 3 blister clones and you have 15 seconds to kill them. If you do, then you deal their equivalent damage to what you got them off of. The amount of health that they spawn with and the amount of damage they do is a percent of the elite or the boss that you spawn them off of. This is probably going to be meta no matter how strong the boss powers are or how nerfed they are. A lot of people are going to in the end be running blisters more than likely. It's probably not a question of if, but when you get around to it. And for a super late game, everyone is probably going to be doing a 20 rank max on blisters. The bright side to leveling and maxing the blister power first is it is going to work with pretty much every class and build in the game. So as soon as you switch over to an all, um, it's not going to be like a 20 rank average or 20 rank Ashava's breath where it's like, how do I work this in? Lilith, the Lilith passive is going to work for everything. I think that's insanely good design on Blizzard's part, just that they managed to think so much about the ability and make it so versatile. I also feel that like if you get 20 points in Belial's boss power, alts are going to be a joke for you, and Most of your alts are going to run that until they finish flushing out their builds, even with the nerfs. All right, so that said, let's get into Lilith. First thing, Lilith, and I probably shouldn't release this information, but Lilith drops a spark every time you kill her on the PTR. I honestly foresee that change going live. I hope it does. I hope with the obviously significant nerfs to farming Uber boss mats that this is how we can target farm mythic uniques, and now we have a way to target farm mythic uniques a little bit earlier in our Diablo experience. It is going to be tied around unlocking Torment 3. There's probably a world in which you can kill Lilith on Torment 1 once you've unlocked or once you're capable of Torment 2. And I'm sure there'll eventually be some videos of that out there. But for now, starting out beginning of the season, I would wait till Torment 3 to scaling to try her on Torment 1. That that said, it's probably going to take you about 5 minutes to kill her. You are going to have to do almost all of her phases. You cannot skip most of them. It's going to be a long fight. And farming Lilith gets boring. I did her for about an hour, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with this. And it wasn't like it was hard. I probably did her at least 20 times like most of the other bosses. It's that it was boring. Some of the bosses I find fun. I find Lilith tedious. And maybe that's just because I sold so many boosts on season 7 this season, and it felt like a chore more than a reward to go and do one. But the Lilith fight was designed to be punishing, and they have stuck to the original design, which is why farming her is not fun, rewarding, or engaging content. I think there's a place for a difficult boss in the game and the ecosystem. And if I mean, a Mythic Spark is powerful, so maybe it's intentional that it's really painful to farm this. Uh, and you will get more mythic uniques from just running the Uber bosses over time. So maybe this is a decent balance. We'll just have to see how it plays out. It is nice that you can target farm mythic uniques now, and you can target farm sparks, and I liked that they put this in the game. Okay, that said, Lilith mechanics. If you haven't ever experienced Lilith before, um, you get to experience it in season 8. In season 1, you're going to have to do all 4 stages of phase 1. She is going to land and do stuff, and your damage should be high enough that you transition her pretty quick. She's going to disappear. She has several different types of ads in phase 1, from what I could tell. They all have different mechanics, but they shouldn't live long enough that you can experience the mechanics. They lived long enough that I noticed and knew that they had the mechanics, but I just did not. I didn't take notes. I didn't pay attention to what they were doing. They felt trivial and sort of like felt like a gear check more than anything. The hardest part about phase 1 is dodging her Wind of Hate. You're going to have to dodge 4 sets, and each Wind of Hate has, I think, um, uh, 4 to 6 waves of wind that drag across the platform. I didn't find it very difficult to dodge. I have done a lot of cutting edge bosses in World of Warcraft, which really conditions you for these boss dances, so they don't really phase me anymore. Starting out, I got hit by them a few times, and my survivability stats were high enough that day one, and day 2 of the PTR, Lilith um, was identical to the Carbot video. Near the end of the PTR, Lilith felt very much like a balanced, tuned, and fair boss. Um, So um, do with that what you will. Now, if you're getting hit by every Wind of Fate, I think if you get hit by every single slash, you're going to die and you're going to have to start her over again. So bear that in mind when you're on hardcore, that it is so very real that you can die to Lilith, to even her generic damage mechanics. That said, it shouldn't take, if you can do Torment 3 content, it shouldn't take you more than a few attempts, in my opinion, to learn Lilith. And if it does and the issue is damage, wait till you're on Torment 4 until you start learning Lilith and farming Lilith. That said, once you get out of phase 1, phase 2, she's going to land, she's going to do whatever. If you wait, if your damage is garbage, she's going to start raking the platforms. The raking the platform mechanic didn't seem like it bugged out a ton. The safe spot felt like it was usually well telegraphed, but I don't know if this was intentional or if every so often she does a combination with something that I was missing. But every so often when she would rake the platform and there would be a very tiny small spot, sometimes it felt like there was just no small spot and you ate it. I don't think that ever one-shot me, and maybe it will on live. It's just something to be mindful of, but it's also avoidable. So if you have a lot of damage, you're not going to have to learn that phase. You're just going to transition her to the next phase. When you transition from well, say phase 2, she's going to destroy the northern end of the platform. You are going to be dodging her gray balls. I like to call them the BB gun or the BB bullets. You're going to have to dodge her pea shooter, and I usually like to start on the left side just because that's my muscle memory, but start on either side of the north edge of edge of the platform. It'll be clear that the center of the room is not safe. You're going to just walk around along the edge of the outside of the platform, dodging, which should help you dodge the BB bullets just fine. And you're going to end up on the other side. And then I always like to evade dash once the center platform is safe as I'm reaching the end of my arc. That might not be necessary or the best use of evade, but it feels good for me. And then you're just gonna rinse and repeat. You're gonna kill her again, and then I assume that's phase 3. You're gonna run around. There are blood blisters. I don't think you can kill the blood blisters. If you can, I mean, I was Dance of Knives rogue. If you can kill them, if they do have a health pool, I was just one-shotting them with Dance of Knives or my Death Beam. They do hurt. Don't be near them. I don't really understand their mechanic, but it wasn't something that it felt like I had to give a ton of brain space to. The more damage you have, the less you'll have to pay attention to it. Don't walk through it though, because they either erupt or they leave bad stuff on the ground. Again, this is like if you've done Cutting Edge in World of Warcraft, this is a mechanic you're used to. Same thing that you did with the north platform. On the east side, you're just gonna like do a little crescent moon along the outside, and then when the inside is safe, you're gonna dodge. There is a cadence to arriving there at the right time and leaving at the right time, and if you mess that up, you're gonna have to learn that cadence. And once you have that cadence down for the north, east, and the west side, that's really the only mechanic I think you have to know, and then it all starts to click for this boss fight. I believe phase 4 is just waiting for her to um, uh, swoop down to the west side of the platform. Same thing she did before, and you're just going to come to the middle, and then with enough damage, you won't see phase 5. That's what I call it. If you do, you're going to see some more stuff where she rakes the middle of the platform. Probably has more abilities, but again, if your damage is there, you're not going to have to learn any of this. It's an action RPG. You should be killing the bosses fine, and you shouldn't have to see too many of their abilities. And if you are, you're not necessarily doing it wrong, but making it hard on yourself. Anyhow, thank you so much. See you in season 8.